Welcome to HealthWatch, presented by Novant Health. I'm your host, June Baker. Our show features local physicians and health professionals discussing health topics of importance to local residents. Today, we will talk with Lee Lane of the Brunswick Wellness Coalition and Tiana Bowie of Project Search, a new program at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. Then we'll connect with Michelle Summerall, Manager of Respiratory Services at Novant Health. Stay tuned to learn about valuable health topics with HealthWatch. First, let's welcome Lee Lane of the Brunswick Wellness Coalition. Lee, it's so good to have you on the show today. I can't wait till you share your vision of Brunswick Wellness Coalition with our viewers. So let's start by getting to know you a little bit. So tell me about your role at the Brunswick Wellness Coalition.
Well, June, thanks for having me. I appreciate the invitation and look forward to sharing about the Brunswick Wellness Coalition with you and the viewers of Brunswick County. My real role is the day-to-day operations and management of the Brunswick Wellness Coalition, which is an entity that encompasses lots of different organizations throughout the county, and I'll share a little bit more about that later.
Okay, great. Well, then let's talk a little bit about you. Tell me about your education and your background.
Well, I've loved health since the 7th grade, so I'm one of those lifelong health people. Yeah. Not necessarily the health habits that sometimes go along with it, but it led me to getting a degree in community health as an undergraduate, and then advancing on and getting a graduate degree in business, and eventually my doctorate in health administration. So from an academic perspective, you can tell there's a health theme kind of through there. But in the work realm, my experiences are from everything from health department to hospital to university settings. So coming on board with the Brunswick Wellness Coalition is definitely in my wheelhouse, and excited to have the opportunity to be able to further this idea of prevention in a county-wide effort.
Yeah, well, I know that we're glad to have you here. So I'm sure that some of our viewers out there have not heard too much about it. I know that there's been some advertising, and we try to do it both on TV and on the internet. I know you have a website. So tell us about the coalition and how it came about.
Sure. So the coalition has not been in existence that long.
Very long.
Probably 4 or 5 years, something like that. And it came out of this idea of people needing to come together for the idea of putting positive health practices in place with the vision of having Brunswick County be the healthiest county in North Carolina. So this was a conglomeration of different healthcare and government and private organizations that formed, and the founding members, including the 3 hospitals that serve Brunswick County, came on board with open arms and have been very embracing for the efforts going forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, does the Wellness Coalition just focus on Brunswick County?
That's a yes and a no question.
That's what I thought.
Yep. So yes, we do, because we want to be the healthiest county, but we also know that people come here to work, play, not just live, and we want to make sure that they have good work environments with healthy workplace policies and things like that. So we do, everybody who comes into the county, regardless of why they're coming, we want to make sure that they get some bit of that health and wellness enrichment that Brunswick County can have.
Well, I hear that the Brunswick Wellness Coalition has partners. Talk to me a little bit about what that means.
Sure. So we have 2 categories. We have partners and then we have friends. And partners are our major stakeholders. They usually put forth a little more effort. from not only attending quarterly meetings that we have, but really getting involved in the work of our committees. And then our friends are folks who can't commit as much time, but who still want to participate in some form or fashion. It could be just that they love health, you know. So we have the opportunity to bring lots of different people on board. And right now we have about 40 partners who we are collaborating with, which is wonderful. We still have a lot to do, but we're making good gains and momentum with our partner and growth of that area.
Mm-hmm. Give me an example of what a partner might do. What would a partner contribute?
So depending on the different type of partner, lots of times it could be anything from implementing a program, assisting with policy change, environment change, system change. It could be just advertising and getting the word out about what's going on with other organizations. So if
So a
somebody's
lot of it's
hosting a class,
education and information.
it is.
Just connecting people with the right resources,
Yes,
things like
yes.
that. Now, I know you have several committees, so let's just spend some time on the committees. And do they have particular focus areas?
We have 3 major committees. One is visibility, which is kind of our marketing, advertising arm, where we want to showcase our partners in the efforts that they're doing. So that kind of is more of that social media, website sort of thing.
Sure.
And then we have our program committee, which is chronic disease, and we really look at lots of different disorders, diseases, health issues in that realm. Currently, we're kind of focusing on obesity, diabetes, heart disease, people moving a lot, and getting that physical activity in. And then lastly, we have a food access committee where we are trying to engage people in consuming lots of fruits and vegetables, as well as helping our food pantries to offer healthy food options, have food tastings, allowing people to try things they haven't tried, community gardens, and a variety of other sorts of opportunities, whether it's a garden at a school or a garden at a church. Lots of opportunities in that food area where some of them even give food to the food banks.
So you do work closely, I'm assuming, with the food banks all over the county then?
We do. Some of our food pantries here in Brunswick County are partners with the food bank. Some are not, the Central and Eastern North Carolina Food Bank. And the reason for that is most of them are volunteer run.
Right.
And so not everybody can be open the minimum number of times that the food bank wants them open. But the service that we've seen throughout the county has been absolutely wonderful, and the availability of, especially this past summer, fruits and vegetables and things like that that are fresh, and people can consume those.
Yeah. How would you describe the primary ways that the coalition is impacting the community? What would be some of the primary?
I would say one is just that whole idea of getting people to learn a little bit about health and taking that to their personal level, and then hopefully taking the personal aspect that they gain from it and that growing into sharing it with their families, their friends, their coworkers, their communities.
Yeah. So getting back to disease prevention versus disease treatment, you are promoting the disease prevention aspect.
A lot of it is disease prevention. So an example would be somebody who may be pre-diabetic. We would like to keep them pre-diabetic or reverse that before they develop diabetes. However, when we think about morbidity and mortality, if someone does have diabetes, we want to educate them on how to reduce worsening that disease. So foot care, eating what they need to eat, checking their A1C levels.
Right. Well, during this time of the pandemic, I'm sure that a lot of activities have been curtailed. Are there any offered online, such as diabetes education, things like that?
Yes, we have our diabetes education, the DPP program, that's being offered virtually, as well as Moving for Better Balance, which is more fall prevention with a little bit of a Tai Chi background in it, and very interesting. So we'll be getting results from both of those programs probably by the end of this year to see what people are engaged in and how they're progressing with this different learning style.
Well, there's so many more questions I'd love to ask you, but we're getting close to the end of our time. It looks like there's some amazing work going on out there. And if there are viewers out there would like to have more information, how might they contact you? So
they can always send us an email at brunswickwellness@gmail.com. Look at our website, which is brunswickwellness.org. Or they can follow us on social media at Brunswick Wellness.
At Brunswick Wellness.
Yeah, we're Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so we're out there.
You're really connected.
And we want to connect with people. We want to hear ideas, and we would love to hear from folks.
Great. Well, I hope to have you back real soon, and hopefully we'll have some activities that we can talk about and some events that are going to come up. So thank you again for being here.
Thanks, June. I appreciate the invitation.
Now, let's welcome Tiana Bowie of Project Search. Welcome, Tiana.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you here with us, and I'm so excited to learn about this because I don't know very much about this topic, so I'm really excited to learn from the master here.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Now, some of our viewers out there may have heard about it already. I have heard about it. Okay. It's called Project Search.
Project Search, yes.
And I know that Novant Health is your partner in this, and so tell me, just kind of describe to us what Project Search is.
Okay, Project Search is an internship program for students or individuals with developmental disabilities. So Novant is our employer, and they've partnered with Brunswick County Schools, Vocational Rehabilitation, Brunswick Community College, and we all have come together to support kids with developmental disabilities at their internship within the hospital. The hospital has about 6 different rotations. Each student will have 3. They are placed within the surgical department, the lab, guest services, environmental services, the kitchen, and is that 6?
I don't know. They work in the supply area?
And supply chain. In the
supply chain, yeah. I thought so. So tell me about your role with Project Search. What do you do?
Okay, I'm the instructor for the program, and I'm employed by Brunswick County Schools.
Oh, okay.
And my role is to teach the Project Search curriculum and also offer support to the managers and the mentors within the different rotations to teach them about the disability and give them tools to support the kids while they're doing their jobs. I also work with 2 job trainers from BCC, Michelle Dunlap and Lynn Smith, and they actually go with the students to provide services to them while they're doing their jobs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, whose idea was this? How did this all come about?
Well, Wes Judah is the mastermind behind all of this. He's on the advisory board at BCC for the Brunswick Interagency Program.
Oh, yes, I know about that one.
Okay, and so he was out looking for internships and jobs for individuals with developmental disabilities. Yeah. And he happened to be at a meeting in Raleigh, and he heard about Project Search. So he pitched it to Brunswick Community College, and they gave him the okay, and he found the partners, Brunswick County Schools, Vocational Rehabilitation, and the employer Novant. And it took about a little over a year, and now we're here.
I remember when they first started talking about it at the hospital, and I heard so much about Project Search, but I didn't really understand and grasp the it's a huge thing. I mean, this is amazing.
It is.
I can't believe this. So were your students able to start this past fall, though, even with COVID?
We started. All of our interns are in the hospital.
When you say they're in the hospital, they're not sick.
They're not
just
sick.
Working.
They're working.
Well, tell me a little bit about the program, how it's working, and what the students are actually doing.
Okay, so our intern that is in the lab, she's doing every job that goes on in the lab that she can do that in terms of receiving blood and getting it ready for whatever they do. She's also learning how to prepare organs that have come out of surgery
My goodness.
to preserve them to go to pathology.
Wow.
She's labeling and isolating COVID tests, and whatever they do in the lab, she's doing.
Who knew?
And so we have another intern who's in surgical, who is already at the point where she's preparing the surgical equipment kits for surgery. She does the sterilization, and then she's learning to wrap everything that the doctors need. And we have our environmental services, who she's from the emergency room, all levels of the hospital, preparing rooms, discharges. We have our student that's in the kitchen. He's prepping. He's prepping food, cooking, stocking. We have our kid, that's our intern that's in the supply chain. He's doing the mail, making deliveries on all the floors, working hard. And our guest services, I call her the queen of Novant. She's the first face that you see when you come in. And she's already greeting patients, taking temperatures, preparing the wheelchairs, transporting patients.
Nice.
So they are fully engulfed in the hospital experience.
And I bet they're loving it.
They love it.
I bet.
They
probably get up in the morning and say, I can't wait to go.
They haven't missed days. We have very good attendance.
Oh, I bet.
Very good attendance, and they're free. Like in high school, they're confined to the classroom and spaces, but here they are just like any other employee at the hospital.
Yeah. Well, how old are these students?
17, 18, and 19.
17,
they're
18.
Seniors.
They're seniors in high school. And how many students do you have?
6.
6. Is it capped at 6, or could you have more?
We can have more, but the team decided that this year they wanted to do 8. We had 7, but because of COVID, one parent decided that that wasn't appropriate. So now we have 6, but next year we hope to have 8.
Wow. Are they taking any special precautions with COVID, or is it pretty much what we all have to do at the hospital or in our
what we all have to do at
practices?
the hospital, whatever the safety procedures for the hospital. We're wearing masks all day, social distancing. Also, each department has their own resources and PPE, and so our kids abide by those safety precautions.
Yeah. So, do you have a primary goal for this program for these students? What is your goal?
Our goal is for them to sustain employment, to become independent, productive citizens.
I'm just amazed at this. I'm so excited about this. What are the parents saying? How are they?
They were afraid.
Were they?
Apprehensive, not really understanding what their children will be doing, but they are a great support to us. They're always available. We communicate weekly. They want to know how they're doing, and so I make sure that I contact them and let them know the progress of the students.
And if the kids are happy,
the parents
have to be so happy to see them happy.
They're great.
If there's someone watching and they've got a son or a daughter that they think might be a candidate for this in the future, what can they do about it?
Yolanda Warren is our contact at North Brunswick High School.
And what's her name again?
Yolanda Warren, and she can be reached at ywarren@bcswan.net.
Okay. I still can't get over this program. It is so wonderful. You look like you enjoy it very much. And I bet you get so much gratification from this.
I do.
And satisfaction from this.
That's one of the reasons why I applied. I'm an occupational course of study teacher, exceptional children's teacher. I've been doing this for about 8 years here in this area. And you know how you just reach a point where you feel like you need to be doing a little more? And when I saw the video about Project Search and saw the hospital in Cincinnati where it started, I said, you know what, that's something that I want to be a part of. I want to take the kids to the next step to make sure that they have the skills needed to be successful and independent.
So it started in Ohio?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Really? And is it all over the country
It's
now?
all over the country and the world, actually.
Really?
Yes. And if people want to know more about it, you can go to projectsearch.com.
Projectsearch.com. Well, I think that Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center is so honored to have this. I think it's a great program. I think it's a great thing to do for these kids, and just going to open up all kinds of doors for them. I want to have you come back, and I would
Okay.
love when we can have maybe a student come with you.
Okay.
Right now with COVID, we're limited to one guest at a time, so
Okay.
maybe we can do something a little different, or even come and see your classroom.
I would love that. I would love
Because
for you
we
to come
can
in.
do this long distance. We can come and do the classroom once the COVID-19 pandemic is over. So that would be great.
That would be
wouldn't it?
great just to come see them in their environment. That would be great.
Well, it has been such a pleasure having you here today.
Thank
You're
you.
a delight.
Thank you.
It's going to be so successful just with you leading it. I'm
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
proud of Novant Health for joining that and the college. And so thanks again, and come back and see us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Alrighty.
Finally, let's welcome Michelle Sumrall, Manager of Respiratory Services for Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. Michelle, thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's start with the basics. Tell me a little bit about your education and your background. I know you're a respiratory therapist by trade, but tell me how that happened.
Sure. So I've been a respiratory therapist for going on 17 years. Wow. I can't believe it's been that long time. It doesn't seem like that.
You don't
but
look old enough.
I've traveled all around working as a therapist, as a travel therapist, and then came to the Brunswick area when my husband and I decided to start having a family. So we liked the area, and I went to school to be a therapist. I got an associate's degree, but as therapists you can get a bachelor's or master's. But I chose to take a little different route, and I got my bachelor's and master's in business. So
Oh,
that's where I
nice.
am now.
Well, that really broadens your...
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell me about your role at Novant Health. What does that look like?
So my role at Novant Health is I'm the manager of respiratory care, cardiovascular diagnostics, and cardiac rehab. So I manage the day-to-day operations so that my team can give the remarkable care that Novant's known for.
Nice. Nice. Well, why did you become interested in being a respiratory therapist?
It's quite funny. So back home where I'm from, I used to run EMS, which is emergency management, and our chief there was a respiratory therapist. He actually taught at our school, and he recommended it to me. He said, "I really think you'd be a great therapist. You have a sense for detail. It's kind of your I think that would be what you like. So why don't you apply?" And I did, and I got into the program, and the rest they say is history, and I couldn't imagine anything else.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, this has really been an interesting year, especially for a respiratory therapist, and with the pandemic and all. So tell me what your team's experience has been like this year with the coronavirus.
Well, June, there's two words I can use to sum it up, and that would be roller coaster and whirlwind. And our patients that come in with the COVID-19 virus, like none of them are alike. And so that seems to be the, up and down battle that we fight. Some are extremely critical and need help with oxygenation issues, not enough oxygen in their body, and some just need a little bit of help. And we're there at the bedside along with our nurses and providers. It's a team effort, but we're there to help them through that crisis in whatever manner we need to.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about ventilators this year. I think everybody's familiar with a ventilator now and what those do. So the respiratory therapists are very involved in the care of the coronavirus patients at the bedside, right?
Absolutely. So for the most part, it's the more critically ill patients, those patients that I spoke of that are having those oxygen issues. We need to help them to breathe. But then there are some patients that just need a little bit of supplemental oxygen to help get them through their crisis. And that's where the more critical patients, what you're talking about, the mechanical ventilator, that's where we kind of come into play with them. But again, it may just be something as simple as a nasal cannula, and we're right there to help them.
Well, we recently had on Dr. Daniel Feinstein, who is the director of the tele-ICU program. And so I'm assuming that you work in conjunction with the tele-ICU folks. So talk to me a little bit about that capability now that Novant Health has that capability. How does that involve you?
Yeah, it's a wonderful new capability that we have at our facility. As you said, We have an intensivist group, which consists of the intensivist doctor and the nurse. That's just another set of eyes on our patient. That we have a collaborative approach to take care of the more critical aspects of the patient. Sepsis, our COVID-19 patients, like we spoke of, they've been instrumental in helping us get those patients over that hump and getting them better. It's just been a very welcoming and wonderful program that we as therapists have been able to talk with the intensivist, talk about how to change the patient's ventilator if necessary, work with the nurses. It's just been a wonderful collaborative approach for them.
When we talked with Dr. Feinstein, he talked about how the intensivist checks in on the patient, the nurses check in on the patients virtually, and then you also have the ability to talk with those providers, and the family does too. Is that correct?
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's been so well received from our patients, is because they've actually been able to participate in that plan of care. If they're able to, the family's able to speak with the intensivist and the nurse as well. We're able to talk with them. They see that interaction, and they see that we're really trying to take the best care of their loved one here as close to home as possible.
So you would agree that it's a huge benefit for the patients and their families with this new tele-ICU. And that's just available in the ICU, is that correct?
Correct, yes. In the room, we round with the tele-doctors every day and the tele-nurses, and it's right there in the intensive care unit that we have.
And where are they located, the doctors and the nurses, the tele folks? Where are they located?
So they're located at the central hub, the SOC is what we call it. And they're all there in the Charlotte area, I believe. And now the doctors can be anywhere.
Right.
Dr. Feinstein, when he's done, you know,
if he goes away,
he can
remotely.
Exactly. So it's a very great, wonderful tool for them to be able to really be anywhere in the world and check in on their patients.
That's amazing. I never thought I'd see the day that that would be the case. And sometimes families and even patients, they're sort of nervous about the tele stuff. But I think our practices also have seen a huge improvement in people who want to do a virtual visit, just can't leave the home, they don't have a ride, you know, the transportation's an issue. So it works with many other things too.
Absolutely.
Not just in the hospital. So
I think the one positive thing that came out, not one, but one of the positive things out of the virus is that it's kind of paved the way for this technology. And it's been well received because nobody really wants to go out. And they now understand the importance of the technology and being able to do it remotely.
Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I think the one thing I'd like to remind our viewers, if they are at all sick or not feeling well and they feel like they need to come into the emergency room, to please do that. We have many safety measures in place to keep people from getting any type of virus, but we don't want to delay the care that they may need. We're seeing sicker and sicker patients because they're waiting so long to come into the facility. And so we just don't want them to delay that because they're in fear of the virus. We have those safety measures in place to take remarkable care of them.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. It's been a pleasure. We've learned a lot from you, and I look forward to having you back.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in to ATMC TV's HealthWatch. I hope this information was beneficial for you and your family. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to see discussed on a future show, please email them to atmctv@atmc.com. Visit NovantHealth.org for more information on Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center, local doctors, and general health information. Thanks again for joining us today. Be sure to join us next time for HealthWatch on ATMC TV.
ATMC TV is your community channel, bringing you the best of where you live. Stories about local people and businesses. Staying fit and living well. Coverage of high school sports. and the area's only local cooking show. Tune in to ATMC TV, your community channel, only on ATMC Cable, Channel 3 and HD Channel 910. Watch online at atmctv.com. This is ATMC TV, your community channel.